So the next movement in this cat stretch series is the muscles of the waist. And the muscles of the waist is a straight side lying positioning. So it looks something like this. You lie on your side and you bend your knees as if you were sitting in a chair on your side. Your thighs come out from the hip at whatever is comfortable for you. Some people will find it's more comfortable to be further down like this, but if you can come out somewhat close to 90 degrees, that's great, and somewhat close to 90 degrees with your knees bent as well. Your upper body lies sideways on the floor, and whatever is capable and whatever you are capable of, you let your arm come perhaps underneath your head. If you can't quite do that, maybe a pillow under your head, if your arms have to stay down here, but wherever it feels like you can kind of get a support, which helps you get that sense of length happening through your body. This movement has an upper and a lower body part. So let me start with the lower body part first. So this is very specific in that you're going to lift your foot but keep your thighs together. And what that does is it rotates your thigh with the right one getting rotated on top of the left one as that foot comes up. And it just helps to engage up into the hip and the lower back through the side. So, and that's all there is to that one, right? So then you just let it down. The upper body part is got a little bit more focus or a little bit more oomph to it, which is that you bring your hand and cup over top of your head so that your elbow is as comfortable as it can be, somewhere pointed up toward the ceiling. And then what you're going to do in this case is you're going to have the head and the shoulder complex come up together, which gives you a sense of an engagement from the upper body down through the side. So you don't want to put any strain into this, even though you're going to be taking in some load. So just whatever feels comfortable, feeling perhaps as much as you're working through the upper part that you're feeling a little bit of lengthening through the lower part, and come back down again. Now let's try those together. So your foot comes up and your head and shoulder come up, and you get that kind of sense of engagement through the side of your body. You may feel some places where your habit is pushing up against or stopping the movement that wants to happen, and just don't push into it too much. Just feel into it, and then just feel what it's like to ease off from that. So that's like the arching, the scrunching into it. And then the second half of the movement is with the lower body, you quite simply lengthen out through that right leg. So you're getting a kind of a stretch through the whole side. And with your arm, you just take it and lengthen out. And you might start to feel how there's a little bit of an arching happening in your lower back on the bottom side, perhaps a slight pulling in of the shoulder blade. Here you can see how it starts to kind of bunch up the carpet as I pull in with that shoulder blade. So you're just, as you lengthen out here, there's a complementary scrunching up that happens on the lower side of your body. And just to kind of feel out through your leg, all the way out through your heel, through your foot, and out through your arm, feel how there's a lengthening out through the side of your head, and just let yourself have that movement with lengthening on the top side and straightening on the bottom side. And then just easing back off again, coming back to your starting position, and coming back up again. So now you'll feel the flattening of your side in your lower back coming down into the table. Perhaps a little bit of a flattening coming down into the floor, and perhaps even a little bit of a lengthening out of that lower arm as it starts to respond to the shortening and lengthening between the two sides. And slowly coming down. The release off the effort is a very important place of learning. So it's really useful to come down slowly and feel the sensations of that, and then just going into the lengthening. And so once again, you can do that 3 to 5 times more if you're just really curious about how it moves. And then of course, easily moving across to the opposite side moving across to the opposite side and trying the same thing lying on your right side. So the left foot comes up, the head and shoulder come up, slowly letting them back down, lengthening through the left side, feeling the engagement, pulling in on the right side, easing off, resting for a moment, and then trying it again. And lengthening. And each time you go through, because you're coordinating between the two sides, you'll find that gradually there's like a greater ease of movement, a greater range of movement. That just naturally comes from the coordination between the two sides. So that's muscles of the waist.